My name is Allard Nooy. I'm the CEO of InfraCo Asia Development. We're a commercially managed infrastructure development and investment company headquartered in Singapore. I've been in Asia for 20 plus years. I've always been in the infrastructure space, both on the origination, on the sponsor side, on the financing side, and ultimately the implementation side of infrastructure projects, largely in the environmental sector, but also in renewables and in thermal power. We are mandated for 12 countries in Asia. Philippines is one of our 12 countries where we're mandated for, and we've recently closed our very first deal here, which I will come back on later on. Where I see the market moving to and where I see the opportunities laying in the foreseeable future is on the environmental side related to power. Waste to energy is currently untested ground in the Philippines, but I see that as an opportunity going forward. I see also further public-private partnerships and PPPs as an opportunity going forward in the Philippines. And last but not least, the renewable energy sector, including solar, wind, hydro, and hopefully ultimately waste to energy. As InfraCo Asia, we are quite unusual in regards to investing into projects. We take that very early stage and high risk development risk. So we basically play where the private sector has either failed to play or is unwilling to play. We put development dollars at risk to de-risk projects and to get them ultimately to financial close, and then attract further private capital from the market, and that's both a combination of debt and equity. We do originate projects ourselves, and we've reviewed quite a number of opportunities before we actually take one forward. That's a very interesting question. The origination lays with us and our developer teams. So we've got dedicated developer teams in South Asia, headquartered in New Delhi. We've got a dedicated developer team for Myanmar under contract with us, and more recently a dedicated developer for Southeast Asia with offices here in Manila as well as elsewhere in the region, including Jakarta, Ho Chi Minh City and Singapore. So they have developers on the ground to actively and proactively approach markets and potential joint venture partners. So that's one part of our origination process, and we build up a pipeline through that process. Our co-investment program, which is being launched about 12 months ago, is on the basis that an existing developer has come to a standstill for one or another reason, and it's usually running out of money or can't find the debt or running into regulatory issues in the market. And as I mentioned before, we've recently closed our very first deal. We're working with an existing developer here in the Philippines, pre-financial close, early stage development of 6 mini hydro projects. So that's in the renewable energy space. Here in the Philippines. It's in North Luzon, and we're working with a joint venture partner called Alter Energy. So they approached us. We went through a due diligence process, and that's both a background check on the individuals involved as well as the companies, so normal KYC process, as well as legal, tax and technical due diligence, and we got ourselves comfortable with the deal and have recently signed on a joint investment and development agreement as well as a convertible loan agreement. That's a very interesting topic, because the Philippines is still relying a lot on thermal power. A lot is diesel, a lot is coal, and to a certain aspect it's gas. But the gas field is obviously running out of steam. It's only it's less than 20% currently in the energy generation mix, which is coming out of renewables. I believe that the Philippines needs to work on alternative sources, one of which could be LNG. This is massive capital investments, obviously, building out an LNG terminal and entering into long-term contracts to get the LNG supplied. But that ultimately would replace diesel and the outgoing gas supply for gas-fired power stations. And diesel is expensive and has got obviously a very large CO2 footprint. The other important aspect is that the Philippines needs to work more towards a user-pay principle as far as their tariffs are concerned. Currently, a number of off-takers are selling into the grid, but the retailers, the ultimate customers, are still being subsidized with their tariffs. So creating that awareness, a user-pay principle, would help to further sustain the industry in the Philippines. Power and Electricity Asia and Terrapin has been around for a very, very long time, and I've been involved with a number of other events throughout the region with Terrapin. I must say that definitely in the Philippines you're the leader as far as this power and energy space is concerned, both on the exhibition as well as on the conference side. You are able to attract high-level speakers, both from the public as well as from the private sector. So in terms of the Philippines, you're definitely, in my personal view, a market leader. Elsewhere in the region, you make good headwinds in Indonesia more recently, and obviously in the past, your conferences in Singapore were very, very well attended. Your industry focus, and I believe that helps to attract the right delegates to the conference, as well as the right speakers and moderators of panels.